it's time for a round of quick-fire hypotheticals.
Oh, no.
Quick-fire hypotheticals!
So, all you have to do is tell me the first thing that comes into your head, basically, all right? It's a quick-fire hypothetical question. Let's say you found a fallen tree in the forest, right? Obviously, it fell down before you arrived, but did it make a sound as it fell?
Ooh,
No.
Well, no one's going to say yes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, do you know where this question comes from, as it were?
it's a
Bishop
famous...
Berkeley.
Bishop Berkeley, yeah.
Philosophical question, isn't it?
So that if there's no one to hear a sound,
Is there a sound?
is there a sound? It depends so much what you mean by sound, doesn't it?
Well, there isn't, because sound is the vibration of the eardrum. There is no sound
Is
if
it?
there's no one to hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it depends, though, because part of the definition of sound is that there has to be a recipient for the sound.
Yeah.
Isn't there? There's the thing that makes the noise, and there's the transmission of the noise, and then there's the reception of the noise.
Yeah.
But if there's no reception of the noise, then maybe the noise doesn't exist.
Other things are still vibrating, but whether that vibration counts as a sound or not is
But
a...
when's the forest
That's the
ever
definition
empty?
of sound is what happens in the ear. There isn't any sound if there's no one to hear it.
It's a mooty point.
If there's a speed of
Yeah.
sound and it's only what happens in the ear, well, how do you get that speed between that and your ear?
Do you know,
Maybe by the time that tree's fallen, you got there, that sound's halfway around the world and making someone else very nervous. Ah!
Stephen, are you sure about this?
Well, no one is sure. That is the point. That's why it's a hypothetical. No one knows. I mean, to a semanticist or a neurologist, they may say that sound is that, but to a physicist, they would say the propagation of sound waves is sound. Whether or not there is an ear to vibrate, it is a sound wave. And if it's a sound wave...
I disagree that they are sound waves, because if you go...
You may disagree, but you're welcome to. But you're not...
Vibrations,
you're not
they only become a sound wave when there's an ear to receive it. It's rather like... Do you remember we talked about a thing that really astonished me? Did you know that light's invisible? It's the most extraordinary thing. If you, in a dark vacuum, if you shoot a beam of light across the eyeballs like that, you can't see it. Because
Yeah,
you
but
can
what
only
about
see what
sound?
light hits. And it's the same thing, but people said, but that's a stupid answer, because the definition of light is something that goes into your eye and is then received. Until it does that, it's not light. So.
But we have all kinds of things like not ears, for example. Are you saying that it's not sound if it registers on a recording device that is left there without a human there? That it's bending the needle of a recording device? Does the machine not hear? Is it not a sound wave that is actually causing the machine to register?
Well, but in Bishop Berkeley, so...
I talked about you, not about Bishop Berkeley
Yes.
entering a field. The point is, it's not as simple as just to say yes or no. That's why it's a good question. It's a good question. We would have unfairly forfeited someone who said yes just as much as somebody who
I
said
thought
no.
you said there was no right answer to this question.
There is no... That's why I said there is. That's why it's a good question. There is no right answer. So your yes and your no are both... That's
bet it made a
So
headline.
whatever I said, it would have been...
Yeah, I'm afraid
So
so.
if the tree fell down and there was no one there to see it fall, it should still be upright.
Very true.
My only conclusion.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, Alan, are you keeping well?
Yeah.
What way is Iceland's most recent volcano similar to Genghis Khan?
I think they're both shag nasties. Genghis Khan apparently has shagged everything that moves, and that he is the father and mother of all populations in Europe and Asia, so he shagged everything that moves. and the volcano, of course, has spurted out, had an orgasm of ammonia, and has fertilised Europe. Good answer.
I have to be brutally honest and say that's not what's on my card.
Oh, shit!
But if there was no such thing as science, you'd be right. I think I know what it is.
Yes, go on.
I think, obviously, that volcano stopped lots of transport going on.
Yes.
He must have stopped something happening, which the volcano stopped happening.
You're in this right area. The odd thing is it's both very beneficial, especially at the moment. It's a thing we talk about a lot. Now, that volcano poured out, they reckon, between 150,000 and 300,000 tons of carbon dioxide. So there's a huge amount of carbon came out as a result of it. But, if you remember, no one flew for however long it was, and the lack of flying saved 3 million tonnes. So, in fact, it was a huge offset of carbon. And in the case of Genghis Khan, he slaughtered his way across the world and had the largest empire the world has ever seen. 4 times bigger than that of Alexander, twice the size of the Roman Empire. And he killed about 40 million people. And the result was there was so little farming that the forests grew back. And you can time a huge benefit to the world from his slaughter. But that's rather extraordinary, isn't it?
So what do we have to pronounce?
Now, yes, that's what I was... How did you know that I was going to ask that as a supplementary question?
I thought you already did.
Oh, did I already say it?
Oh, that or I read it off the
you read it off the audio? You great big cheater!
there.
I would now like you to pronounce the name of the volcano, and it's written up there for you.
God alive. You're prawn rings.
You should have been a newsreader.
With your accent, you've got the best chance.
It looks a bit like that, yeah? Any thoughts?
Ye Jaff Yali Jokro. Yeah.
Brian,
woman just got
you may have set it off again by doing that.
Yeah. I think the umlaut changes it, doesn't it? Those 2 little dots.
The 2 dots.
Yeah. And I think, actually, the way you're supposed to pronounce it is... Hutch.
If only.
It changes it.
Apparently, it's Eyjafjallajökull. Leokodl.
And is that translated big smoky bastard?
Yes.
You will go by ferry.
Now, how did the Danish government convince its citizens to multiply? This is one of my randy scandies.
You mean actually...
I do mean that.
Was there financial incentives?
There were incentives.
We all need incentives anyway, don't we?
What, to procreate?
Yeah. Or just, you know, the bit before that as well.
Right. I'm fine, but OK.
Incentivise me!
So I can narrow it down. It's actually a place called Thisted, which is in Jutland, so the mainland, the bit that sticks up from Germany. So what happened in 2015, the local authorities were going to close down the local school, and everybody was very upset in the local area. So they struck a deal that the people would procreate as much as possible if they kept the school and the leisure facilities open. Nothing says, I'm bringing sexy back like a council memo.
And did they all do it? Did they all have to have kids?
Well, as many as possible, so they were encouraged to have kids. I have to say, it's a lovely place, Thisted. Not a lot to do. Number 3 on their own website of things to do in the area is visit the candle shop.
Sexy candles for around the bath.
Yeah. There's been lots of times before Britain has had its own panics about falling populations because of the war and contraception and so on. So in 1921, the Daily Express ran a competition to find Britain's largest family. And the News of the World offered a free tea tray to any mother. Any mother who gave birth to her 10th child. Don't want your bloody tea tray, I'll take your head off with it. And the French still give medals for having large families. That's still a thing, the Médaille de la Famille Française. How many kids for bronze, what do you reckon?
6.
4 to 5, silver you get, 6 to 7, gold, 8+.
I thought you said 45 for a second.
There's so much wrong with that picture. I can't begin.
Go on.
Why are they creating a human bench for their 2 children?
That is worrying.
Have they glued their heads together? Maybe they're ventriloquists and that's how they hold their children. Just used to holding people like that.
Now, for an out-of-office question. How do you get everyone to leave the office party?
Fire alarm?
Fire alarm's good.
Sprinklers.
I'm going to give you a clue. It's a particular office that we are going to be in. It's going to be the Oval Office.
Lieutenant, the President's on his way.
So, the President of the United States, it was a tradition that he held an open house to celebrate the inauguration. And theoretically, anybody could show up and shake the President's hand and drink a bit of punch. So, 1829, Andrew Jackson, he had a tradition of, you know, having people over, and it was the worst house party ever. 20,000 people showed up, massive crowds poured in, they stood on the furniture, they ground food into the carpet, they broke the crystal, and apparently the carpet smelled of cheese for months. So, how to get the guests out of the house? So, the house has got 20,000 people in it, they're all making the place stink of cheese. What did you do?
Fire?
No? You want to lure them? Be nice. You
Ice
don't
cream
want-
van.
Ice cream van in 1829. I'm loving the idea.
So I'm sorry. Ice cream cart.
No, they set up huge barrels of whiskey on the lawn.
Free booze!
Free booze!
We've had so much cheese.
But he didn't learn, Jackson. So 1837, he's done 8 years in office, and he leaves office, and he's been given as a gift this massive half-ton wheel of cheese by a farmer, a half-a-ton wheel of cheese. Yeah. And he thought, we'll have that as a party. 10,000 people turned up and ate this cheese in 2 hours. And once again, the White House stank of cheese, apparently.
Simpler times when all you need for a great party is just an unbelievable quantity of cheese. You don't even need biscuits.
No. So the truth is, most people don't look forward to their office parties. They did a survey, 700 office workers, 25% did look forward to it, 40% didn't care, 20% actively hated the prospect. And 15% couldn't be asked to answer the question, I think.
I think you have to be quite socially confident to say you're looking forward to your office party. It sounds a bit keen.
Yeah.
You're supposed to dread it or go, oh, it'll be fine. So those 25% are either very socially confident or they've completely missed the mood of the times.
Yeah. Right, I'd like you to act out the opening scene of the classic film All Together Passionately.
Sorry, I'm on the wrong show.
Yes. I'm happy to do it as long as I can go on top.
I think you should speak to Josh.
Yeah. As long as you've got a cushion, I'm fine with it.
Anybody know All Together Passionately?
It's not ringing any bells.
It is the Italian name, I will tell you, for a very famous film, Tutti insieme appassionatamente.
I'll be honest, if anything, I'm further away from the answer.
Yeah. OK, if I do this...
Passion of the Christ.
And I'm twirling around on top of an Austrian mountain.
Sound of Music!
Sound of Music! It is the Italian name.
Is there an Italian phrase for the sound of music?
Apparently that's what they called it, All Together Passionately.
Oh, no. That sounds like a film you wouldn't watch on a train.
Do you watch a lot of films on trains?
Lots of them. You have
oh,
to
yes,
be...
because you don't fly,
yes,
so you spend your life on a train.
So you have to be very careful sometimes if you have a film with a bit of...
Naughtiness.
Naughtiness.
Ooh. Yeah.
You have to turn it to the window.
Does anybody here cry at movies on planes that you wouldn't normally cry at? Like Paul Blart, Mall Cop? I mean, floods. Not even the movie, sometimes it's a credit card ad. Like, oh, my God, she lost her credit. Oh, she got it back. Oh, thank God. So many emotions to handle in one commercial.
Well, here's the thing about The Sound of Music. It was so popular in South Korea when it was first released. One theatre owner in Seoul made the film shorter by cutting out all the musical numbers. He could show it more often.
Do you know, I've never seen it.
Oh, Josh!
Oh, really? Never?
You never see the... You are 16 going on 17.
Yeah, it's like that, but with a tune. And... I was once lucky enough to meet Julie Andrews. It's the only time in my entire life I've been completely speechless.
Because she wouldn't shut up.
She just kept asking me what my favourite things were. It's very annoying.
Do you like them tied up with string? I bet you do, girl. I bet you do. What's the deer? What's the female deer? Come on. Leave me alone. Do you want to see the goat herd? It wasn't me singing. High on the hill. Maria. I'll be back with you. I'm Maria. Shut up, Julie. God.
I'll be honest, I understood none of that.
My question is, what's your worst nightmare?
I don't have nightmares. I just occasionally have dreams that are quite stressful.
Oh, like what?
Increasingly, they involve having to do my A-levels again.
Oh.
For some reason, I've been busted back to the sixth form, and I have to do my A-levels again. I keep saying, this is ridiculous. I've been to university. Why am I having to do my A-levels again? But I do have to do them again. And I wake up all stressed by it.
And then have to go to the toilet.
Yeah. It's quite nice. nice, because I reflect as I go to the toilet that I don't have to do my A-levels again. So that's good news.
Are you a nightmare person, Alan?
No, but I wish I had a dream recorder.
They're boring, though, when people tell you their dreams. They're so
No, not
boring.
other people's dreams. I don't want other people's dreams. My own dreams are amazing.
People always go, oh, my hands were made of coleslaw, and then you were in it, and you had, like, really big... And you're like, this is so boring.
Have you ever been... When you hear someone describe their dream and they mention someone's in it, and then you sit there rather hoping that you're going to crop up in it as well. And then you don't always, and you sort of go, oh, I've not invaded this person's consciousness enough.
Sometimes I have dreams where I need to fight someone and I have no strength. And I'm supposed to get somewhere and I can never get there. And I'm impressed by all the various obstacles I can put in my own way that I invent in the night.
But those aren't the most common sort of ones. The thing about being chased, not being able to get to the toilet in time. Being exposed publicly naked is a very big thing. And how you respond to that. So if it doesn't bother you, that suggests you are secure in real life. If you're embarrassed, it suggests you are uncomfortable about something. If you don't notice that you're naked, I think you have a lack of self-awareness is, I think, what it would probably be. Do you sleep on your left or your right side? Because that may have some impact on whether you dream or not.
Do most people have one side?
Oh.
I like
Are you a tosser and turner?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, my God, this is a dream, and you're going to wake up and go to the toilet. And we're all in your dream.
So what did you say, left or right?
Right.
OK, so that fits with the study that they did in 2004. You are more likely to have disturbing dreams if you sleep on your left-hand side than if you sleep on your right-hand side.
So I'm good. So you toss and turn.
It could be either way. I didn't realise. Now I'm making a choice.
Yes.
Am I just going for rest or adventure?
What side does your wife sleep on?
I'm not aware of her having a preference for one side
So
or the other.
you have one side of the bed, right? Like,
yeah.
Surely... See,
yeah, I'm not an idiot.
But my husband makes me sleep facing away from him because I breathe too loudly.
That's quite weird, isn't it?
Well, like those two in the picture.
Oh, yeah.
When I got married, another thing I found out, that it wasn't usual to put your underwear and your socks on before you put any of your clothes on.
Well, you're supposed to put it on afterwards.
No. Did you marry
a superhero?
I put my underwear on, and then I put my socks on, and then I put my outerwear on.
OK, and what's wrong with that?
Well, apparently it's weird to put your socks on before you put your trousers and your top on.
I think your husband is telling you that things he does are things that everyone does. It is perfectly reasonable to put your socks on before your trousers.
It's also perfectly reasonable to breathe while you're asleep.
This man's official title.
Is it the Pope? Head of the Catholic Church.
Yeah, it's not his official title. So we rang, I love this, we rang the Papal Nunciature. Guess where they are located?
Lowestoft.
Wimbledon. And the spokesman translated the Pope's titles from the Vatican's official directory. They are Bishop of Rome, Vicar of Jesus Christ, Successor of the Prince of the Apostles, Supreme Pontiff of the Universal Church, Primate of Italy, Archbishop and Metropolitan of the Roman Province, Sovereign of the State of Vatican City, Servant of the Servants of God, but not Pope.
Try fitting that on a name badge.
I know! It's a colloquial term from the Italian Papa, so it's a style rather than an official title.
Why do you think those guys all around the back are looking in the air?
Because their hats haven't
and
landed
the Pope's
yet.
looking forward.
My hat came first!
Supplementary question, is the Pope Catholic? I mean, literally, is the Pope a Roman Catholic?
He's a Roman Catholic. Yes.
Because the Pope, that is, this man, is not called the Pope, then he is a Roman Catholic. This one is a Roman Catholic, but the actual Pope is the Pope of the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria, and his official title is Pope of Alexandria and Patriarch of all Africa on the Holy See of St. Mark the Apostle. So he is definitely the Pope, but he isn't a Catholic. He's the Pope of the Coptic Orthodox Church. So the Pope, the man whose actual title is the Pope, isn't a Catholic. The Pope isn't officially called the Pope, and the man who actually is the Pope isn't a Catholic.
Clear?
Yeah.
How many men have been President of the United States?
Oh, it's 46 or something.
Well, shall we ask the great man himself? Shall we ask the current president?
Is he here?
Is he here tonight? Ladies and gentlemen.
What a waste of a guest.
I'm glad we've given up my seat. I sat in the audience for this one.
Here he is, the president, but which number of the United States? He's here to tell us.
I thank President Bush for his service to our nation. As well as the generosity and cooperation he has shown throughout this transition. 44 Americans have now taken the presidential oath.
He's wrong. He made a mistake.
He's only been on once and he's wrong already.
He is currently known as the 44th, just as Bush was known as the 43rd, but they aren't. Bush was the 42nd and he is the 43rd.
Oh.
Do you know why this is?
One of them was invisible.
Was there someone who was president for a bit and then stopped being president? Someone else was president and came back?
There was one non-consecutive president,
Right.
who was the 22nd and the 24th.
Why did they count him as two? That doesn't make any sense. Yet they count Clinton as one.
Yeah, because his terms are consecutive. This one was the 22nd, then Benjamin Harrison was president, and then he was the 24th. This was Grover Cleveland.
I think if I was doing that, if I was setting that system up, I would have gone for the number of different men. Right?
Yes.
I would say, you know, that you get a new number if you're a different man.
Person, exactly.
Not if there was a gap.
No, I know, but there's only ever been one gap, and for some reason they didn't do that. So when he took his second oath, he was called the 24th president, although he was the same man who'd been the 22nd.
Well, he was actually Stalin.
He was, he does look a bit like
So not only did he rule Russia, kill millions of people, he was two presidents of the United States.
It's a weird system,
That's
isn't
a CV.
it? It's quite a bombshell.
Now we know what he was doing in between presidents.
Yeah, exactly. Barack Obama is, in fact, the 43rd person to become president of the United States because Grover Cleveland held the position twice with a 4-year break in between, making him the 22nd and the 24th president of the United States. How many Spartans died at the Battle of Thermopylae?
Oh. This can be 300. Well, I saw a documentary about this.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's definitely 300.
The film is called 300.
Is there not a thing that one... Because there weren't just Spartans there.
Sparta!
There were...
That is how it's pronounced.
There weren't just Spartans there. There were other... But I think one of the Spartans sound
There was
nasty.
a narrow coastal pass that was defended just by Spartans, 300 of them, plus their king, played by Gerard Butler, who was...
Spartan!
Called...
The 301st?
His name was... He was the 301st. Leonidas, if you prefer.
Leonidas.
He's
now got a chain of chocolate shops.
I was brought up to call him Leonidas, but Leonidas seems to be the way now. I don't know. Who knows? But Leonidas or Leonidas, thank you. He defended a narrow coastal pass, and so they're 301. Only 299 Spartans died, though, so it leaves 2 who didn't. Leonidas did. 2 survived because they never took part.
Mike and Bernie Winters.
A lot of nudity going on, which was a very Spartan thing.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got his sword.
The couple by the tree seemed very fond of each other, one's grasping the nipple of the other. So swords casually laid against them.
So much effort and not put your pants on.
I know.
There's something about one of the ones that they were ashamed.
They were desperately ashamed. One called rather wonderfully Pan-Titties. It's a bit like...
Do you mean Pantitis?
There was an MP who was introduced to Churchill, whose name was Bossum, and Churchill said neither one thing nor the other. But anyway, Pan-Titties or Pant-Titties or whatever he was, Pantites, went off to deliver a diplomatic message, apparently, an embassy, and he hanged himself from shame when he got back and saw that he was the only survivor. In fact, he wasn't the only survivor, because Eurytus couldn't fight because of an eye infection. The Spartans have taken all the credit for the winning of the Battle of Thermopylae, but it was very much a combined effort with the Athenians, who were their allies at the time. Herodotus, known as the father of history, who was born 4 years after the battle, is the closest contemporary source, and he estimated the Greeks numbered about 5,000.
He was born 4 years after it had happened.
Yeah, but he's the
best we can do.
Yeah, I'm afraid so.
That's all right, then.
No one else wrote...
That's better than a lot of ancient history.
The father of history, what's he called?
Herodotus.
Herodotus. Because it must have been a lot easier when he was around. I'm not having a go at him.
No, it's a very fair
But less
point.
things had happened back then.
Fewer things.
Yes.
I think...
Common usage. Play common usage cards.
It's so like being back at school. It's unbelievable.
Apparently, you can say less or if you want to now.
Apparently, you can just say what you like these days. Apparently, that's
You can literally say less if you want.
Apparently, you're not allowed to scream idiot at people. What was the point in getting an education at all? I know how to use the apostrophe. Apparently, now it doesn't matter. What I want the time it took me to learn that back.
You need to be less bothered about this, or fewer bothered. You need to be fewer bothered about this kind of thing. Just let it go. Be fewer upset.
Why do doctors hit your knee with a hammer?
To test your reflexes.
Yeah.
That's correct. But what reflexes are they?
The reflexes are
It's because they don't like...
There's nerves that run from the thigh upwards to the
head.
No. No, you would think that.
It's something to do... So the expression's like a knee-jerk response.
A knee-jerk reaction, yeah, a knee-jerk.
Because it doesn't go to the brain.
Yeah,
it goes... It communicates amongst itself.
Well, it goes
somehow.
up to the spinal cord. It doesn't go all the way up to the brain at all.
Yeah.
So it is unmediated by the brain entirely. It is absolutely a knee-jerk
It only
reflex.
happens in two times. One is when you get hit on the knee with a little hammer like that, and the other is when you're asleep on a crowded train. It's only two times. And you never see a doctor rushing off with a little hammer.
Right. Anyway,
What if you did a murder with your reflex? If someone sort of attacked your knee and then reflex, you had a knife attached to your shoe or something, and you killed them, would you be able to say, but the reflex, it didn't go to my brain, it only went to the bottom of my spine, so I didn't really do it?
Yes.
That's like when you're driving and you have an automated response. It's called like murder by automata, but you don't go to prison. So if you sneeze, for instance, and then you run someone over... Someone sneezed!
Yes. Talk about a reflex.
That means there's been a murder!
Has murdered someone.
Now they know they'll get away with it. It's something like...
If you walk into a room with a gun cocked, sneeze, it goes off, you kill someone, you're in the clear.
So if you want to kill your wife, what you do is you drive down to Dover, you get her right up against a cliff, and then you put your leg behind her and then get a doctor to tap the knee. Off she goes.
And the doctor would go to prison.
That would act up.
The doctor would go to prison.
I think so.
What if he was sneezing as he tapped the knee?
The perfect crime. Broadchurch Series 2.
I love this imaginary super compliant wife that you've found.
To be taken.
Just come all the way here and stand there. What are you doing here?
Why does the GP come with us?
Get her out of the house.
Isn't it a lovely view, my love? Stand still.
Now it's time for a round...